Right, that's fine. Birdall also comes in on a bad timing. The approach of the solo laners is just really poor timing. I don't think the solo laners called this fight, but they definitely didn't end up helping with the way they introduced it after that point.
Tough one there for Birdall. I think maybe expecting more from the high shout over the wall, etc. Maybe expecting that to turn into a big two-man play, but alas, it did not, and the Baron earns negative 2,000 gold for LGD. They are still ever so slightly ahead in gold, but it really isn't much for the 27-minute mark. And importantly, NIP, sole point now with the next straight going up in 3.5.
So, important things to know about some of these dragons. I know, you know, Chemtech is one of the dragons which has been more added, obviously the newest addition with Hextech as well. It gives you heal and shield power and tenacity when you come through into those basic dragons. The soul, you can sometimes give or take it, but in games like this, which are very close, I think the soul is very powerful. But also when you have stuff like lockets on both supports who don't normally get heal and shield power items, that can give you an extra bonus. I think also the shield bow benefits from this too. And when you're against a Leona, typically Leona has come back into the meta because tenacity has been shredded from the game. If NIP get themselves Soul and they get themselves the second dragon as well, in terms of the Chemtech variety, I think they're going to be pretty happy with an extra 12% heal shield power, or 16% rather, and the tenacity as well. That could actually be quite a big game changer. So LGD, 3 minutes to organize the map, find some isolated picks, maybe go towards a Baron themselves, and try and stop NIP from playing around their grouped up fights where they're really starting to thrive, especially with the 3-item spikes and the carries.
Does feel like we're getting towards that point for NIP where these carries do just individually start popping off. And at the end of the day, like when we think back to how we mentioned this composition straight after the draft, like it is just a lot of really big, high damage set pieces, you know, where you've got the True Shot Barrage that can chunk a whole team. You've got Zeri that can pop off, obviously, but like the Equalizer and the Requiem used alongside the Roots from Juan, like it all just ends up in one player getting annihilated. And I mean, if Haichao is that player, suddenly these fights look completely doomed for LGD.
I also think, even if it's Meteor, I think it's pretty doomed for them too. I think they actually need both of them to be doing optimal damage. I don't think it's enough for one of them at this point. The carries do too much. Wookie going to walk up towards Haichao, a bit dangerous there, takes a bit of damage. Fighting over the global red buff, that's the Solar Flare use, and it's now a grouped up fight.
True Shot Barrage comes on through, Requiem across the team as well. Meteor is chunked, but it's not quite enough to finish anybody off. I'd say a positive trade for NIP, but it doesn't really lead to much. No,
not really that much of a big win. Of course, the global red buff goes to NIP. That can be quite important post 20 minutes, particularly when you have multiple AD carries which are applying it across the team very effectively. Of course, with Zeri having the Rune's Hurricane, you're applying to 3 targets potentially too, and turns that red buff can be very, very powerful. So NIP getting that potentially could have helped them towards a Baron fight if it were to come to that, which is of course up and available, and we'll keep tracking whether that is as important as potentially we have thought it to be. Now, Dragon up in a minute, Baron up now. LGD might go to start this. They don't have themselves too much deep vision, but they have just enough to scout out the approach from NIP. They don't have themselves those big ults as Zeri and Karthus.
They've got some good damage on that Baron. Photic going to True Shot Barrage onto Xiaoya here. Rookie caught out by Haichao. The Baron's just going to go down here for LGD. That's twice now that they find the objective for themselves. Shanji's moving over to try and be a part of the play, and NIP are stalling as long as they can to get that Equalizer in the mix. But LGD, they got the Baron, and they will get their recalls. And Equalizer?
Okay, no, so this is important. I was just trying to think through this. Now, NIP, because of that Equalizer, they delay the backs enough, so yeah, you're right. They delay that to the point where now Soul is going to go over to NIP, I think. You're going to have late resets coming through, so they're going to give over that Chemtech Soul, but we just talked about the value of base Chemtech Dragons, and then also that Soul. They are going to be slow on the recall. Haichao does have teleport, but he won't be able to back and spend his gold. If he gets himself enough gold to recall and then get an Infinity Edge for this next fight, then I think it's completely game on. Watch that back. He's teleporting in. He won't have Infedge, but he will have himself a good angle. Bluebirds is picked up for NIP, and they will have themselves positioned in River first. Big objectives now up on the table. NIP, if they get Soul, it's a big win for them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure that the play really worked out for them in the end. Without Equalizer up for this fight, it feels really hard. Haichao gets onto Lien as well, and just one bangs him at land. Meteor there to finish it off. Requiem will at least get Jinzhao, but it's one kill in trade for the Drake, and now in goes Birdall to set up the fight, but he's gone way too deep. The rest of the team not on board for the play. Meteor is burning down as well. NIP have found a miracle off the back of the fight. Rookie skates his way to safety. How have LGD got the Drake but then lost the fight?
Rookie survives with the shield power. You know what? We talk about heal and shield power. That might have actually saved them with that too. Shire burned down by the equalizer, so he can't go back into position to protect everything. And Midwave, it's not going to be a full kill, but NIP, they walk away with no dragon, but a handful of kills. And what that means is that the Baron buff basically means nothing for LGD now. They get themselves that kill until the end. They don't get anything else. And suddenly, LGD, that Baron, which they fought very hard for, only gets them the dragon. It denies the soul, that's still important, but it's not the end of all things. Lian trying to stick around to try and burst down that Baron, gets hit by an AP Kaiser W, and then gets hit by Hydra after that point. So he just gets completely obliterated, no flash. Poor positioning from him around the objective. I mean, he's still going to be that Karthus putting out extra damage in his soul form at this point. Sadly, Locket doesn't save poor Ginger there.
Yeah, we're too late in the game for Locket to be the difference maker now against that Karthus ult. I will say, this composition, it's not easy for a Karthus to position in these fights when you have absolutely no frontline. Zhuo being your only frontline on the composition, and it's not like he's the tankiest tree in the world. I will say 1-0 and 12 so far for Zhuo. He's having a pretty good game. On the Maokai, the ults have been decent. But now, again, Soul wasn't taken. Zhuo has found Haichao, forced the flash out from him. His equalizer used, not ideal for an OP.
And that is going to be a big tool down for Haichao. Haichao, a huge part of why LGD have been winning out in the side lane plays. I'm getting a bit worried for LGD now, because it feels like this is less about isolated picks, it's more about the big fights. And if there's anything we've talked about in this series, is that NIP are somehow winning the bigger fights as it stands. I think that it's helping now as well that Shanji has that Zhonya, so he can be a pseudo frontliner with the ability to jump forward with that flame spitter and just kind of put himself into stasis and get some good value out of that. I think that Shanji, despite him not being nearly as fed as that last game, is still Shanji's Rumble, and Shanji in team fights is a very different beast from Shanji from the rest of his game. Rookie jumping forwards, trying to hop over and get some good damage onto Haichao. Yeah. I think NIP are feeling good about the group fights, even if the LGD are still pushing in across the map.
I have to say, I think it's worth us acknowledging the fact that LGD now, that is 3 neutral objectives in a row, 2 Barons and a Dragon that they've secured for themselves. Meteor actually blasts out the ult to set up for Haichao. What a combo! Voting might drop as well, does survive as the Requiem comes on through. Haichao chunked and Rookie trying to flank, but I mean, Meteor, just perfect setup, and Haichao there to finish the job.
Yeah, Leon had like 3 seconds left up on his flash. It was great timing from LGD to take that. It's just going to be a kill, but hey, you'll definitely take that kill, and that's going to fund, of course, Haichao going towards even more. He has himself those 4 items.
They were sending a message, you know. They may not get an objective out of that, but they're just reminding Leon that he can never step up. You step up, you're dead, sunshine.
It just steps up and says, welcome back to the LPL. Leon in his first series back in the LPL, stepping into Aki's shoes. It has been very entertaining. Very entertaining. Has it been clean? No. Leon does have his flash for the next fight. He doesn't have himself something like a Seekers, which could be a bit of a problem for NIP. I think as soon as he gets something like a Seekers, he'll be a lot more happy to kind of walk up and potentially put on his E, go into Zhonya's, and try and survive a little bit longer in that front line.
Rookie has been found. No, Haichao grabs away that Gromp. I just want to point out quickly, Camington Bear spotted this in chat. Lien has done a bit of a top esports as he is now 3, 6, and 9 in the scoreboard. Maybe he'll be able to channel his inner 3, 6, 9 and pop off in these team fights. Now, I mean, the Requiems are getting scary. He's on those 3 items, but not going for the death cap. Typically, the Karthus 3rd item death cap is just the stronger damage build.
Yeah, and he's also gone for the Dark Harvest instead of the First Strike. First Strike can help you power through to later items. We saw a fall off of Dark Harvest because it's just harder to
it got buffed on this patch, though, right? It did get buffed. I think it's now better at scaling, I want to say. I think it's better in kind of like the more stacks you get, the more damage it does. And it does better into the late game. So I think you can, if I remember, I mean, I'm reaching into my memory here, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was also that you can stack it more often. So that it's better for laning.
So if you get it procs, but it doesn't kill, it's still on a low cooldown. Rookie might have to blow his flash here. Haichao going towards the knockup, doesn't hit him. Here comes Meteor.
Rookie trying to count it out. Haichao doing some big damage. Meteor is also doing some big damage. Rookie just can't escape. True Shot Barrage comes in, and you know, a fair effort to Rookie, but what can you do when they're chasing you down like that?
I think you have to flash the first flame breath if you're going to have any thoughts of going towards that. Shanji teleports too, doesn't make it to the play in time, so NIP losing in the split picks. LGD consistently winning in that now. Xiao, yeah, he might even go for a ult towards that one. You can see that doubly landing. That's why they were going towards that spectator. Xiao, yeah, not necessarily been making the hero plays, and that is now a, what, a fourth? Fifth?
3 in a row.
3 dragons in a row, but a fourth, fifth neutral objectives with the Barons put in there too. NIP really struggling to get themselves into the right areas of the map for their big team fights to come to bear. They are winning the grouped up fights, but they're not getting to them cleanly now.
The crazy thing as well is it feels like it's all off the back of this Shyvana Yone combo. It's not a combo I expected to be talking about coming in today, but my goodness, these set pieces are beautiful. And like, it, you know, Shyvana makes Zeri looks slow, which is saying something in that previous play. That's another Baron. That is, I think, 5 neutrals in a row at this point, if I'm not mistaken. Meteor, absolutely king of the Baron. Unfortunately, that does also mean that that is the 3rd Baron now for LGD, and they still haven't broken it in here. It's not exactly a ringing endorsement.
So LGD, they've not won the big team fights themselves. They're not getting those decisive victories which end the game. They're getting those ones which get them, you know, an inch forward, a meter forward, but it's not ending the game. We are getting to the point now where everyone's getting closer towards that full build. We're very close to that on both carries for Rookie and Photic. I think for Rookie, as soon as he gets himself towards All Dominates Regards, he could potentially kill Meteor while he tries to run at him at that point, unless he gets hit by one of those massive flame breaths. Meteor getting himself towards the last item too. This Shyvana is doing a hell of a lot of work. Liam going towards a pen item as well. Not got that death cap, which of course can be really big in terms of that burst, but still needs something to cut through. Bits of Birdle and Meteor's resist from Shyvana's passive, and then some of the items coming through as well. I still think NIP can win the grouped up fights. It's just so much harder to look for them. It's just really hard for them to get on the board though.
I think the tough thing is that none of the fights have really been grouped up because the amount of mobility.
Oh,
that's the solar flare onto Lien. He's forced to flash into the base. Jin Zhao might have overstepped, but flashes to safety himself. Chuo showing his mastery of the tree. Twisted advance to safety once again for the 2nd time this game as Rookie gets caught by the fate sealed, but Chao immediately just dips back. Looks like they will back away in the end. They can't overcommit. They can't overstay because the game is still on a knife's edge here. NIP with a fight win could find their way straight back in.
Yeah, all it's going to take is one pick now. All it takes is one big pick, and LGD could potentially blow up the entire base. They don't get themselves the inhib, they get themselves the inhib turret. Big damage check happened there too. Photic tried to do a
Baron to pressure. Rookie trying to chase onto this Cassante, but the flash. Rookie doesn't, and Juo falls as well.